Okay, this is my recipe for Coca-Cola fresh ham. So what we got here is, this is actually a whole pig's leg. Let me explain this. This is the sirloin end from here down, and this is the shank end. And when you have the whole thing together, it's just the whole leg itself. Usually what people will do is they'll cook the shank end because it's a lot easier to slice. When you get into the sirloin end, it has that weird H-bone and stuff in there, but I'm going to cook the whole thing because that's the way I bought it. So if you'll notice, I sliced through the fat just enough, not into the meat, but just the fat in about 1-inch squares all the way across the top. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make a brine, because it'll taste a lot better that way, and it'll be the best you'll ever taste. So what we got is, I got about 2 cups of hot water because I like to dissolve the salt, and this is 3 cups of kosher salt. And I'm going to try to dissolve this in the hot water first. And then I'm going to add, it'll go eventually, here it's starting to go now. I'm going to start adding some Coke into this. Okay. And then we're going to add about 2 cloves of garlic, 2 heads rather. Now, I use this stuff that's already chopped up because it's easier. You can get this minced garlic at the store and it saves a lot of time. So that's 2 heads of garlic or 20 cloves. Put that in there. And then we're going to put, this is a 1/2 cup of black peppercorns. I'm going to crush them up a little bit. I want to have them coarse, that's why I got this thing out. Put that in there. And then I got 10 bay leaves. Okay. Now we're going to take, I got a 5-gallon bucket here that's food safe, but just to make sure, I got a plastic bag in it also. I'm going to add 6 liters of Coke. And what the Coke does is, it may sound funny, but there's actually 20 times more sugar content. If I can get, okay, a little dangerous, but there's 20 times more sugar content in the soda than there is in a regular liquid, and this is going to make the ham really sweet. It's not going to taste like Coke. Okay. Put this in there. Still got a little salt that needs to dissolve. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour off what's already dissolved, and I'm going to add a little more hot water to this. I want this to dissolve pretty good because once the cold meat goes in, it's really not going to dissolve all the way. It's just going to sit on the bottom. Now, I'm going to put this in, and you should leave it in here for like 8 to 24 hours. It's a pretty big piece. So I'm probably going to leave it in here just overnight. And that's it, we'll tie it up. I'm going to put a little ice on the top to keep it cold. And in the morning, I'll show you how to put it in the oven. Okay, this is the next part of the Coca-Cola ham. So now, we're going to make a rub, a garlic and herb rub for this thing. So what we got is 2 cups of fresh sage, 1 cup of fresh parsley. We got 16 cloves of garlic, and you say, wow, that's a lot, but this piece of meat that I got is 19 pounds. And usually, when you find a recipe for ham like this, they'll be talking a 6 to 8 or 9 pound piece of meat, which will either be, as I explained last time, it will either be the sirloin end or the shank end, which is basically half of this size of meat. So I'm actually doubling the recipe for the rub. We got 2 tablespoons of kosher salt. Got a tablespoon of black pepper. And now what I'm going to do is, it's going to get loud when I turn this on, but I'm going to drizzle a half a cup of extra virgin olive oil in there until it emulsifies. So I'm not going to talk while this is running. Here's our piece that I had in the brine for about 12 hours. Took it out of the brine and rinsed it off very well, and then let it set for about an hour or two to come to room temperature. It's pretty important, especially for this size meat, because you'll see in the next step that we're going to actually put this in at 500 degrees to crisp up this skin to make it cracklings, and then we'll turn it down for the rest of the process. So I'm going to take this out and rub it all over now. I love this food processor because it has a smaller blade, a smaller bowl that fits on top, so you can do all this little stuff. Now I want to get all of this into all them cracks, which is part of the reason why we cross-hatched this fat. Because that's where all the flavor is going to get in there. So this meat it's about 19 pounds, and it was about 40 bucks. Almost done here. Working it into all those cracks, as I said. And I'll be back in a minute to show you how we put it in the oven. Okay, I've transferred this now to a pan, and it's got a rack in there so that it's not sitting right on the bottom. And I'm going to put this in a 500-degree oven now for 20 minutes to get this skin to be crisp. Okay, now while that's going, I'm going to show you how I make the glaze. What I got here is 2 cups of cola, and again I'm doubling this because it's such a big piece of meat. I got a half a cup of lime juice. I got a pretty decent sized jalapeno. I cut it into 1/4-inch sections and then cut them in half. Leave the seeds and everything in there so it gets a little extra heat. And then I got 4 cups of dark brown sugar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on the stove, and then I'm going to reduce it down to about 2 2/3 cups, which should take about 5 to 8 minutes. And I'll let you know when it's time to baste it, which is going to happen every 45 minutes as we're cooking this thing. So I'll be back. Okay, so it's been roasting for about 20 minutes at 500, and now you can see how the skin has gotten browned on the top a little bit and it's starting to open up. So what I got here is these thermometers are great because you can set it for a preset time and then it'll go off. So what I got here is, you want this ham to be 160 when you're ready to serve it. So what I do is I set it to 150, and I'm going to take it out of the oven about 45 minutes to an hour before we're ready to eat. So I've got this set to 150 now, and as of now, just for your own information here, the inside is 54 degrees. So it's got a ways to go. So here's the glaze, and I've reduced it down to about 3 cups. And I'm going to brush it on there. And we're going to do this every 45 minutes as it's cooking. So this is the first one. And I also strained the glaze so I don't get any jalapeno seeds in here. So I reduced the oven down to 350, and I'm going to pop this back in, and then every 45 minutes we'll open the oven and glaze it. I'll put this on the end here. So that's it, pretty much. When the thing comes out, I'll film it and taste it and show you how it is. Okay, so this actually took, let's see, about 5 hours to cook, and that's what it looks like now. So I'm going to cut into it. And the normal way to slice this, if this was the sirloin end, you'd have to put it on edge, and that H-bone is down here. And then if this was up here, the shank end, slice down both sides. I gotta taste it.
Delicious. So there you have it, Coca-Cola ham.